place I felt I could go to protect him. I went on Twitter. And Twitter, ooh, Twitter's a scary place. It is. You only go there to fight, to get into it, to prove a point. And so a friend of mine said, if you want to get some attention, use a hashtag. And so I did. And I wrote a tweet that said, hey, hashtag cancel culture. My name is Gabriel Iglesias, and I'm the new voice of Speedy Gonzales. You cannot cancel or catch me. And I posted it. I had no idea that when you go on Twitter looking for problems, you will find them. Oh yeah, every major news outlet picked up my tweet and used it in a story about cancel culture. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. If I would have known that, I would have used spell check. Because my family called. Eres pendejo, qué chingados, ¿qué te pasa? No escribe bien. Oh my God. Even Fox News did a story with my tweet. Fox News. You know how I know? My bus driver Dave called me. Oh, he was thrilled. He was like, Fluffy, God damn it, I've never been prouder. You made it, baby. You're on Fox News. I said, Dave, shut up. You're stupid. He's like, America. Even Warner Brothers Pictures reached out to say thank you, and before I know it, I was on a Zoom call. And I know a lot of us had to get used to Zoom, and it's kind of convenient, right? All they see is this. So to entertain myself, every time I took a Zoom call, I was full Winnie the Pooh. And if you're not laughing right now, you better ask someone who is, because there is no coming back from full Winnie the Pooh. I was leaving baby powder all over the house. It looked like an episode of Narcos. So I get on this Zoom call with the director, writer, and producer of Space Jam. And they're being super nice, super supportive, super cool. They're like, Gabriel, thank you so much for lending your voice talents to our film. We really, really appreciate you being part of this. If you have any questions or concerns, let us know. So, well, thank you. We have a question for you. I said, okay. How do you feel about the voice of Speedy Gonzales? I said, well, what do you mean? Well, you know, some people find him to be a little stereotypical. What are your thoughts? I said, well, you have not met my family. I cannot speak for all brown people, but I can tell you that me personally, in my house growing up, Speedy Gonzales was not viewed in a negative way. As a matter of fact, he was the only form of representation we had growing up. It was him and the little bumblebee on The Simpsons. Gabriel, we were thinking that perhaps you would like to lend your real speaking voice to the character, maybe modernize him a little, you know, bring him up to speed. I said, well, you know, with all due respect, I appreciate the fact that you would give me the power to change the sound of such an iconic character. But at the end of the day, when people see the movie, I don't want them to think of me. I want them to think of Speedy Gonzales. So I said, please keep his voice original. And then he asked the question, well, do you think you can do the voice? How did I get the part? Now remember, I never auditioned for Speedy Gonzales. They just called me, and I assumed that they knew that I did voices for a living and that I could pull this off. So I says, what made you choose me if you didn't know whether or not I could do the... Oh. You needed a big brown shield in case shit happened, huh? And then all three people on the phone call were like... I said, well, don't worry, because with me, you get a twofer. You get an actual Mexican, and you get someone that can nail the voice. So, oh yeah. That's right. So before I know it, this sound person, the guy who does recordings over at Warner Brothers, gets on the call. The only thing I know about this guy is that he's loud. Okay, he gets on the call, he's like, Gabriel Iglesias, how are you? Wow, wow. How's it going? My name is Steven. I'm the sound coordinator here at Warner Brothers Pictures. So listen, buddy, here's what's going to happen. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record. And as soon as I hit record, I just need for you to start talking like Speedy Gonzales. We're going to get the flow, the tempo, the timing. And as soon as we got it dialed in, we're going to make a movie. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, this is Gabriel Iglesias for Space Jam, A New Legacy. Speedy Gonzales, take one. Gabriel, mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sounds good. All right, here we go. And go. All right, here we go.
Hola amigos, I am Speedy Gonzales de Pases Mouse en all México. ¡Arriba! ¡Epa, pándale!
The director, writer, and producer, all three were like, that was perfect. I said, I know, I've been Mexican a long time. And I said, and don't just think that just because I'm Mexican, I can only play the Mexican character. I said, I do voices for a living. If given the opportunity, I could voice the entire film all by myself. I could. Watch. Marvin the Martian.
Oh my modulator.
Yosemite Sam. Ah, hike that rabbit. Bugs Bunny.
What's up, Doc?
I said, you can fire all the other voice actors right now. I will do the whole movie for half plus medical insurance. And it was the middle of 2020, so I meant that shit. I'm like, yeah, no copay, no copay. My favorite part about this was the fact that they actually entertained the conversation. Like, he could have just looked at me and said, you're stupid. And I would have accepted that. I would have been like, okay, you know. But I guess we're living in different times where people are a lot more sensitive and more mindful. And so he just wanted to make sure I was okay. So he's like, Gabriel, look, I am not taking anything away from your credibility as a voice talent, as an entertainer, as an individual. But my hands are tied. Look, contracts have been signed. Checks have been cut. This is a union project. And I'm like, look at him go. The producer is also on this call. And the producer is the one responsible for the finance, the money. So he hears the director just freaking going down, and he's like, whoa, hold on. Hear the man out. Gabriel, Fluffy, baby. Talk to me, Puddin'. If we can make this happen, what are we talking? I said, what do you mean? Well, what are we talking? What's your rate? What's your fee? I said, well, word on the street is I go for no less than 50,000. And I do have emails to support that. They still said no, but whatever. I know I'm gonna have to defend Speedy Gonzales again at some point because unfortunately that's how cancel culture works, you know? And don't get me wrong, I understand that some people need to be held accountable, but And by the way, if I'm the one telling you about cancel culture, it's already gone way too far. Because I pride myself in the fact that I'm not a comedian who's divisive. That's why I don't talk about politics, religion, or sports, okay? Because all three will divide people. That's why I talk about food. Because food brings people together. That's right, unless you're vegan. In which case, you can leave right now. I don't give a shit, I really don't. I don't care if I offend you and your salad. You can leave, bye. And the only reason why I'm so on the vegans is because I once was vegan. I know some of you are like, no, yeah. I was vegan for a little under a year. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, that's not, you weren't even vegan then if it was less than a year. But think about it. Anyone who has ever gone on a diet knows just how hard it is to change your eating habits for 1 week, much less a year. And they told me, they said, you're gonna lose weight. And they were not lying. I lost weight, patience, and friends. So I'm just here to let you know, I'm back. So, I almost got canceled. I almost got canceled because I posted a tweet of one of my dogs. Now, some of you already know I have 2 Chihuahuas. Yeah. I know, people watching at home, they're like, that's not stereotypical. Yeah, I know. I have 2 Chihuahuas. I have a little boy dog named Vinny and a little girl dog named Risa. Combined weight, 14 pounds. My little girl dog, Risa, she is 4 pounds and she's 17 years old. Yeah. Her anger keeps her alive. I will confirm every stereotype about Chihuahuas. Oh yeah, it's real. The rage is real. But with me, she loves me, okay? She's 17, she has no teeth, her tongue hangs out, she's adorable. So I posted a picture of her on Twitter with the caption that basically read, going to take my little nugget to go get some chicken nuggets. And then I tagged at Chick-fil-A. Okay, so yeah, you feel that? See how the majority of the room was like, that place is good, sucks their clothes on Sunday. And then there was a few of you in here and you heard the groan, yeah. Half of those people, vegans. The other half are the ones that blew up my Twitter feed. My Twitter feed started getting flooded with nasty comments. You're stupid, you're horrible, how could you? We thought more of you. Really, Fluffy, you? And I don't know what they're talking about. The problem with cancel culture is they only attack, they don't educate, they don't explain. They just attack. And they expect you to know better or understand them, but they're not willing to play nice. So here's what happens. I'm asking questions, no one wants to answer. They're like, Fluffy, you're horrible, you're terrible. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, really, Chick-fil-A? I'm like, I'm sorry, Popeyes was closed. I don't know what to tell you. They're like, you know what you're doing. I said, I am more hungry than woke. I don't know what you mean. And then finally, someone took the time to explain to me why I was wrong for that tweet. Come to find out that Chick-fil-A in the past has been known to make contributions to organizations that are a little out of line with the LGBTQ plus community. Now, forgive me for using my hand to get the letters right. I just want to get the letters right. I do consider myself a supporter and an ally, and I'm trying my best to be as understanding as I can be with the limited information I have available. Now I'm gonna say it again. I'm trying to be as understanding as I can be with the limited information I have available, which basically means I only read headlines. Here's the thing, you guys. There are a million struggles in this world. Every single day, there are people trying to better their lives, trying to get to a goal, trying to achieve something to get them out of one place and into something better. And it's impossible to keep up with everyone's fight unless you mess up and then someone pulls you aside and reads you the riot act. So, here's how the conversation went. Because I finally got one. They said, well, Gabriel, if you consider yourself a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, moving forward, will you still be tagging Chick-fil-A in future posts? I said, yes, I will, but it's not because I'm not a supporter. I'm definitely a supporter of your cause, but causes are a two-way street. You gotta support mine too. I said, I tag Chick-fil-A for the same reason I tag every other company I use organically. I'm trying to get free shit. Plain and simple, don't look past it. And I know some of you are like, well, Gabriel, don't you make money? Yes, I do. And you know how you keep it? Free shit. Yeah, let me tell you how I discovered this one. So I was at a Chipotle one night, and the staff was incredible. So I wanted to give them a little shout out online. So I gave them a shout out, and then I tagged Chipotle. Chipotle saw my tweet, and then they reached out to me to say thank you. And to show their appreciation, Chipotle mailed me a burrito card, good for 1 year's worth of unlimited Chipotle.